Hey people, I changed my name. I noticed on that last movie I was getting more than average clicks of people that weren't interested. So I changed my name in order to direct people that would be more interested in what I got. So this is going to be a really good one. Uh, I found some writings that tell us exactly who King David was. But I'm going to start here. I'm going to show you where I found some good information that turned me on here. And this Second Chronicles 34, and this is all about money. But the word they give money isn't money. This is your word money right here. The shamani. And this is read backwards. And it's in to connect in the new mesh money. And this to tell you why there's an owl on your dollar bill, and this all talks about money. But I found this this paragraph here called Hilkiah finds the book of law, and this is what turned me on. It opened me up. It's just these 5 lines, and I just want to show you this. I'm not going to read all this, but you can try to give it a read. But this word for money isn't money. This is to pesky cusp. A cusp is any sharp point on a sword. Two arcs meeting. Any which way 2 arcs meeting is a cusp. And this word for Hilkiah, this is half of you. This is half of you. And so it goes on to say that half of you is gonna code this by the nip span. And so the nip span isn't in here. The nip span is telling you to scan through the nip span. And so this is the nip span here, the nip span of this book. This is the nip span of the chapters. And it gives you a span. It tells you what this chapter is about. And it's in front of all the chapters in this old Bible. I don't know where to find it, so this is all I could find it in was these first 5 chapters. But this is the nip span, and so this chapter or this little paragraph goes on to talk about how to use the nip span, and half of you are gonna rip the book in half, and then his line 14 says, line 17 will tell you that the half that all did them open the code from, or the overseers, and all did, that you recognize this word if there's an L on front of it, lousy. This is owsy. It's missing the L. All did lousy them lackey. They'll be the lackeys. The ones that figure this out and open the code are the overseers. And the ones that did, it's got a tack, D-I-D. The ones that did owsy or lousy, them the lackey. They'll be the workmen. I got something that's a lot more interested here. Well, I was searching this word for the money, and I ran into this in Chronicles 23:3. So if you're new here, I don't go along with their interpretation, and I'm going to show you why. So if we call this in David, Zachin was old to cut finish, or to cut cane. The Z is the tool or the knife, or to cut. And QN to cut finish, cut cane. When you're old, your job is just to cut cane, I guess. And but we'll look right down here, and it says old again, and it's from Ben, MBN. from Ben. And then this to SABO is and full of days. And so this Jimmy is, or the Jim is given the meaning days throughout. And but this SABO, it's only 2 times. One time it means satisfied, filled, full. But this word comes up hundreds of more times, and every time it comes up, it means 7, SABO, Sabbath. We can see here Genesis 5:26 the same, and SABO, USBO, the 7. Every time it's 7, and all these other words with the SBO in them. Some was E SABO, B SABO, N SABO, the SABO. They're all given the meaning 7. And a couple times it comes up and they say it's Sheba, SBO. Sheba, 8 times it's Sheba, but the same word SBO is also 7. 124 times it's 7 SBO. And so they kind of just make up all the words as they go along. So somebody messaged me one time. They said, why should we take your word for it? And you shouldn't. Nobody should. You should do the same thing I did. You know, if you're interested, you should look it up and find out for yourself. But I'm not going to show you all these words. It just takes too long to show you. But I'm just going to read them the way they're written. And so this to David, sometimes it's just DUD, but this means to divide, DVID, to divide the Zakin, the old, and this is 7. So if this was David was old, 7 days old when he made the king Solomon, you know, that just doesn't add up there. But this is to divide the Zakin, or the old, the cut cane, to 7 Jimmy, to 7 days, we'll call it. But the Jimmy is to make motion, Jim, to make motion, or to make waters, or the Jimmy frums. Jimmy from is something you have to work to get. You know, you got to use your pry bar and jimmy it out of there to jimmy it from. And to make milk, usually when it says king, it's MLK, and it's usually from like, and it means to take the qualities of. But sometimes it means milk, to make milk, and it has a hyphen, to them less lame, to them less lame, those not as old. This isn't Solomon. Solomon is in the Bible, but this isn't Solomon. It's just SLME. But it reads backwards, this hyphen. Them less lame, not so old, in new, BNU, in new. In new all law raise his rule. So the new king to divide the Zakin to 7 Jimmy from, to 7 days, to make milk to them less lame, in new all law raise his rule. The new king has all new laws here. And then to make ASAP, to make quick, like ASP, to make Vav connect, J is work, Vav yod, to make ASAP. To make asp is also a serpent, an asp, to make the knowledge secrets open, ASP is and I get all, if you're new here, I get all this off of the letter meaning chart, the ancient letter meaning chart. They're all the same, and all these letters have a meaning. E means the, Vav means and, B means in. And when you see these words at the beginning of a word, That's usually what they mean. Some of our words evolved pronouncing them, or you can just say the word if if the letters don't go together. The ka is to give, and the lam is to bind, and the m is from. But when you hear me talking these words out, that's what that means. The z is the plow or the weapon, to cut off. So to cut cane, the cut, the Q, the center, and the N, to cut the center seed, to cut the center cycle. This is something that's not in here. It was continuous, but N means the cycle, and that's why it was drawn like the waters in Egypt. It meant the cycles of the water, the waves, the cycles. So to make the asp, to make the serpent, and everything starts with the A, reads backwards. The TA and the hyphen has me read the next word backwards and forwards, so it's LKL. And the hyphen does the same thing to the next word, IRSRI. So to make the asp, TALK, talk, LIRS, or to like, lay, layers, or the talk liars, or the talk liars shry, SHRY, or shry means about to cry, and that's where your word sorry come from, shry, SRY. This S is sometimes pronounced SH. And then his rule, IS, his rule, RAL. His rule, to the Connie from, to the Khan. The Khan means the priest. It means, it's where your word control come from. The Khan, to the Connie from, or a con man. The conning officer on a ship has control over the bridge, over the direction of the ship. To the con from, to illume, ELUIM, to illuminate, to illume, to light up. And so I'm just going to read these 4 lines here, and I'm going to point out about 15 of these words here, and we're going to read this straight out the King's List. And but yeah, to make the ass talk, liar sorry, his rule, to the con, to the cane, to the canny, from, to illume, and division of the Levites. And so this is WISPRU, and it means to whisper to whisper to. And you see how this WIS, they say it's WAYYISSA, and then the PRU is the PERU. And they do this with most of the words. Sometimes they'll add one letter in a word, but they do this with most of the symbols. But it's English. WISPR, the whisper to. The vav means connected, and so you hear me say to a lot. The only time I don't say to is if the word to is behind it. Then if you just say connected, the whisper connected. But the whisper, to make, vav, to, yod, to make, s, the samic, the secrets, open first, to. So if you're talking about the secrets to open first, you whisper to. So the whisper to illume, to enlighten you. The whisper to illume, from in cycle. This doesn't mean old, it means from in the cycle. And which cycle is the sales from, SLSIM, the sales from shine. And cycle the sales from shine. Right around November, December, everybody, and they're in the cycle of the sales to shine. And from whole, you see they give this above, but a mole, M-O-L-E, a mole is under the ground. And a O-L-E that's whole. That means under. And they're trying to totally reverse the meaning here. And from whole. Whole is in the whole thing. And from the hole in the ground. And from whole, wage, W-I-E-J, to make the work is your wage. The wage from cipher, from S-P-R, from cipher, not the numbers, but the math in the numbers, from the cipher. The log of the legal, L-G-L-G-L, log, the writings to keeping up with the logs of the legal time. To log in rhyme is keeping up with the books. To log in rhymes. That's the way they kept the books in ancient Egypt, and that's the way the Bible's written. The sales from to use money, U-S-M-U-N-E. The sales from to use money, it starts with A and it's backwards, to play, P-L-A. To use the money play. The play on money is, that's what it's talking about in these couple chapters I was just telling you. That's what these chapters about, are about money. So everybody take a guess of which one of these is King David. And I'm going to go back over these three lines real quick, because when I read the fourth line, everybody's going to figure it out. But it's to divide Zachin to 7 days, to make from like to them less lame. In new all law raise his rule. To make asp the talk liars, the liars shry his roll. To the con from to illume. To make cipher to, the whisper to illume, from encycle, the sails from shine, and from whole, wage, from cipher, from the log legal time, the log in rhyme, the sales from use money play. The male links all tackle from lack it bite. All tackle from lack it bite. From all tackle from lack it bite. Have you. This has a tack, and so this is E-V-E, to have you. E-V-E-Y-E-W-E. To have you as rhyme. To arbo, to the tree. To the arbor. To arbo, to tree. Play. The wisteria. Wisteria, it's a bush. To spit from. To spit from, to make language. The spit is the language, to spit from. Sachet, S-S-T, S-S-H-T, sachet, my play. The words it's going to get us here is sachet, and the wisterium, and the arbo, and this one right here, the male lynx. Lynx is a cat. the male lynx all tackle. Tackle is the gear. Tackle is all your gear, but from lack the bite. It means you have all the claws and the tail and everything, but you lack the bite, the teeth have you. And then from the cipher of the log, the legal time, and the log in rhyme, and the whisper to illume, from in cycle of the sails shine, and to divide the Zach, and to divide the old, to use 7 days. So they now have a new 7-day work week, is what they're talking about here. The new king is going to have all new laws, to them less lame. People didn't like the old laws. They're going to get new laws that are less lame. We got a new 7-day work week. 6 days of work and 1 day of play. In new, be in new, in you. In new is also a circle. It's a new is a N is a cycle connected in the circle. All law raises rule. To make the asp talk, to make the serpent talk. The liars wry. So this is Seashat, and they say that this is a leopard or a cheetah, but it's not. It's the Iberian lynx, and this is where your word librarian come from. She's the Iberian lynx. The Iberian lynx and the asp, and in new cycle. And this is trimming off the end of the calendar. Every year they were trimming the end of the calendar. The moon calendar. They were using a moon calendar, and they had 2 weeks, and they had to line it up. They use astrology. There's a lot of information right here. Various spellings. But it's Seashat. Under various spellings, the goddess of wisdom, knowledge, and writing, seen as the scribe and record keeper, the cipher, the record keeper, the accountant. Her name means she who scribes. Is credited with inventing writing. She also became identified as goddess of accounting, architecture, astrology, building, mathematics, surveying the lands after the flood every year. In art, she was depicted as a woman with a 7-pointed emblem above her head. It is unclear what this emblem represents. The SABO, the 7. But there's a clue here. The emblem is of the origin of an alternate name for Seashat, the suffocate abui. So with my rules, anything with an A reads backwards. And so this is to suffocate you in. B is in. To suffocate you in. That's a mask where they put it over your head and they burn this old plant with 7 leaves green like this. But you can see she has all the tackle of a lynx. She has all the tackle and the tail. And so her job, mistress of the house of books. She's the librarian. Another title for Seashat, being the deity whose priest oversaw the library. The Iberian lynx. Librarian, that's where your word librarian come from. She was a librarian. She took care of the books, which the scrolls, most important knowledge were assembled and spells were preserved. When the prince of 4th dynasty, and I don't try to say these these Egyptian names, because I'm telling you, they're reading them all backwards. Sennacherib, they can't figure out why Sennacherib had such a fine tomb. It's because they're reading his name backwards. And in the other direction, it's Major Dennis. He was the major. That's why he had a fine tomb. They thought he was just a peon, because they're reading it all backwards. Overseer of the royal scribes, priests of Seshat. The Seshat, the Iberian lynx. And I imagine there's to be some good information to get out of this. The X, they see when the Greeks and the Romans look at this, they call it an N, but this is an X. It's a plant. It's an X. The tax. The duck is a B. In tax. B. BTX. In tax. Usually she was shown holding a palm stem bearing notches to note the recording of the passage of time. In the log, the legal time. The log of the legal time, especially for keeping track of allotment of time for the life of the pharaoh. She was also depicted with other tools, often holding the knotted cords that were stretched to survey the lands and structures after the floods. Frequently shown dressed in cheetah or leopard. It's not. That is a lynx, an Iberian lynx. Iberian lynx. If not shown with a hide over a dress, the pattern of the dress is that of the spotted feline, the Iberian lynx. Pattern on the natural hide was represent the stars, being a symbol of eternity. And that would be Genesis 15. That don't take their word for it. Read through it. It has a different meaning. I was just reading out before I got here. It's a good chapter. It talks about how the word was created with the stars. Divine measure and scribe. Seshat was believed to appear to assist it to the pharaoh. Both of these practices. She recorded by notching her palm the allotted time the pharaoh for his stay on earth. And so all these pharaohs, these kings list, they're not true. They're not accurate. It's poetry to give code for these writings in this Bible right here in the kings list. Seshat assisted the pharaoh in stretching the cord ritual. This ritual is related to laying a foundation of temples and other important structures in order to determine and assure the sacred alignments of the precision of the dimensions. Her skills are necessary for surveying land after the annual floods to reestablish boundary lines. And this was cutting the tail. This is what's going on when they're cutting the tail off the asp. And that was the moon cycles and having to line up the calendar every year. That was her job. That was David's job, to divide. Priestess who officiated these functions in her name also oversaw the staff of others who performed similar duties, were trained in mathematics, the cipher from, and related store knowledge, and taught the record of time and god of writing, who is also venerated as the god of wisdom, closely identified with Seshat. Was overlapping functions. Sometimes she was the daughter and sometimes she was the wife. Now that we all know about Seshat, we can read this a lot quicker. But to divide, to cut center cycle, ZQN, to cut the center cycle to the 7 days, to make from lacto, milk, or from lactose to milk, the Milky Way, to make from lacto them less lame, in the circle all law raises rule. All law come from the circle of the Milky Way. To make a spot to, locale, yearsery, his role, to the con from to illume. To make a spot to locale, to locate the yearsery. Rise is short for airy, meaning denoting a place set aside for activity. From Aries, to cut the tail off to make a spot for Aries, his rule. To the con from to illume. To make cipher to illume, from in the cycle of the solace from shine, and from whole wage, from cipher from sperm, the log, the legal time, the log in rhyme, to solace from, to use from when life play. Male links, all tackle from lack it bite, have you as rhyme to arbo play. In satire from to spit from, sachet me play. So the reason I say from sperm here, SPRM, that's the word given for the seed of in the Greek it says from sperm. When it says the seed, to wage from sperm, the sperm of the kings, the legal, to log the legal time, to keep up the writings of the sperm of the kings, and the kings are the Milky Way, the kings, to make the milk to make from lactu, the milk from lactu, the Milky Way. That's your kings up there. Alright people, I didn't give a lot of thought when I changed my name this morning. I just knew I needed to change it. I might be changing it again soon. So I'm going to cut this off here. I got a lot of good stuff. I found a lot of good stuff here lately. And I'll have something up soon. But I'm about the most censored channel on the internet. So I need y'all to share this. I'm in the process of losing subs instead of gaining. Alright, good day.